My journal ecosystem. This is something I've really enjoyed watching lately, seeing other people's journal writing ecosystems, and I've come across a few feeling inspired and actually implementing some of the things I've seen in others into my own ecosystem. And so I thought I'd also share. Before I get into it, I want to preface by saying I think journaling is an incredible and transformative practice. I think it invites you to fall into a sort of flow, a sort of alignment that's very grounding and kind of gives you this sense of freedom almost when it's time to put ink to paper. And one of the things I love about journaling is it doesn't ask you to be perfect or to perform, and we live in a world where I think sometimes some of us may find ourselves in certain facets of life where it's just ourselves and we're still performing or still trying to obtain this idea of perfection, when it's really just about being present and surrendering to the idea of creative expression and release. Journals are one of the things that I just really love to collect. So while I really do believe that all you need for journaling is just paper, ink, and yourself, it is something that I like to romanticize in my life. I enjoy collecting pretty journals and little trinkets and such. And so for me, it just really works and I really enjoy. But once again, journaling is not something that needs to be elaborate and perfect and aesthetic, but it is fun to make those things sometimes. But I digress. Let's go ahead and go through some of these. So something I also really love about journaling is it really is your own individual practice. It really provides both organizational and creative nourishment and structure. And for me, that's really allowed me to feel supported in my creative endeavors and just daily life in general. These are all my journals that I use on a daily basis. Some days I miss. The 5-minute gratitude journal. So I really like this one because it's a guided prompted journal. So it has the same prompts laid out for each day. And yeah, I just think that that takes a bit of the pressure off and makes it easier when it just tells you what to write. I also think this is a really great way to get into journaling if you've been wanting to start, but you're like, what do I even write about? What do I talk about? Gratitude journals allow you to open up that conversation with yourself and kind of just really think and go over your day and think about little moments. Also, I actually did thrift this. I found it at a Goodwill, and at Goodwill definitely did not know what they were selling because I got it for like $5, I think. There are a lot of gratitude journals out there that are very affordable. This is just one that I really enjoy, and it allows me to go into my day setting those intentions and just ending the day looking back over all the good, even if it's the small mundane things. I think there's a little bit of good in each day, and it's important to be able to write that down and express that. So there's my daily gratitude journal. This one is my papier planner. I'm not sure how you say it, but this is the second year I've used one of these. They're also customizable. I put Year of the Fairy. The reason why I love their planners is because it not only has your daily, weekly setup, but it also has a monthly setup as well for your intentions, goals, things you need to get done. And then it also has the calendar setup. It even has different lined pages in the back for notes and things like that. So I feel like it's definitely a thorough planner. This just helps me stay organized and focused through the week. I've tried a lot of planners, and the way that this one is laid out, this really hits all the marks with that. This is my regular daily journal where I'll do brain dumps, stream of consciousness writing, just general daily journal entries. This year there's no expectations for me. It is not organized. I just write, and when I'm done for that entry, like I'll just go a space and start the next day. This has proven to be an essential part of my routine and just journaling in general. This is really the one I lean on the most. It's a place I'm able to quickly dart down a couple words or fill pages and pages until I physically can't write anymore. And a huge component of journaling that I really believe in is writing it down creates that space in your mind. And what you're able to then do with that space is process, think clearly, think without any weight. So on those days where I miss it, I don't give myself a hard time or feel guilt over it. Journaling is a practice that ebbs and flows, at least for me it does. Same thing with reading. Sometimes I will finish one of these journals in 2 months. Other times, like this one, it'll take me months and months. Yeah, like with reading, 1 month I'll read 10 books, the next month I'll read 3. But I think that's kind of beautiful because it's always so nice when you come back and you just can't seem to tear yourself away from the page. These journals behind me, let me grab them. So these are past daily journals that are all filled. I have others lying around my house scattered about, but I'm not going to show every single journal I have in here. Collecting pretty journals is something I really enjoy. Some people collect books, shoes. I collect journals. I already did do an entry in here, but this is the next daily journal that I'll be using. It's always so fun starting a new journal and wrapping an old one up. Something that I also do with my daily journals, the very first page, I'll write a dedication to that book and I'll kind of set the intentions for the purpose of this journal and what I want to learn, how I want to grow and evolve. Kind of expressing that gratitude that I'm able to have a vessel of sorts to catch my every thought and musing and dream and desire. It's just something I really appreciate, and I think it's easy to take little things like this for granted, like, oh, it's just a journal, but truly, like, it's a gift and privilege to be able to write, and let alone in a nice journal, and to just have that time to journal. It's a practice that constantly reminds you of being present and gratitude. I feel like that's what I get the most out of it. So I started with the dedication, and then the last page I'll kind of do a note out of it, kind of like a reflection of the season of my life tied with that journal. The next daily journal that I use, this started out as a book journal because it says book journal, but it kind of just turned into what I use for all of my creative projects and such. So any ideas I have or things I want to film, curate, I'll write it in here, and I'll also kind of just put my like scheduling for the week. I'll say when it comes to creating and sharing your art and things like that online, I have a very organized chaos approach to it, but this is where I try to organize it. For me, that's a big part of my life that brings me a lot of creative fulfillment and that I just simply truly enjoy. So for me, it has really proved beneficial to have a journal dedicated to that, a journal where I can go to and know that it is a space for me to brainstorm and create and execute. Next, we're going to be kind of moving into journals that are very specific. I have journals for certain things all in one place, and then I have journals to where they're only for one thing, and maybe that one thing isn't something that's a regular occurrence. So there are definitely journals that I'll be working through for years. So this first one is actually what I have officially made my book journal. And this is my book journal for thoughts, notes, questions, theories, quotes, character descriptions, things like that while I'm reading. Right now, I just started The Night and the Moth, which I'm actually so entranced with. Like, I have constantly been thinking about it when not reading it, but this isn't a book video. So yeah, I've just noted down some quotes that I've really enjoyed for it. Like this one I read last night, and it was just one of those quotes you just had to put the book down and think and then read it 20 more times. But it says, which is more intricate, the designs of men trying to reach gods, or that of gods trying to reach men? And then the character replied, what is either to the intricacies of women who reach both? Period. This book, I haven't started using it yet, but because it is so perfectly book coded, I think I am going to use it for written book reviews. Maybe not every single book, but ones that I really, really enjoy and maybe want to go back to. These next two journals have more magical, fun purposes. It kind of just came about that I started using this only at the end and beginning of a moon cycle, so I'll do full moon, new moon diaries. I just think that's a really good point of time in the month to kind of sit down and check in with yourself. And because it's a full moon, new moon, and I personally really like to look into the energies associated with it, I like knowing the historic and folkloric background on said moon and just kind of see where I can apply those ideas in my life for the upcoming month. It allows me to kind of set those intentions and start or end the month on a grounded, aligned footing. It's really nice because it's something that I know that on the full moon and new moon, I'm gonna have a cozy, beautiful candlelit journaling session where I just write my little heart out under the light of the moon. This is obviously one that is going to take me a bit longer to complete, but it's not really about that. It's about the journey and all that. You can go ahead and take a wild guess at what this one could possibly be for, but it is my tarot oracle journal. For me, that's another practice that I really like to be intentional with, and so I have a dedicated journal for it because it is something that is a constant in my life. This will be my more scrapbooking book journal. I do want to get into that more. I haven't been the best at dedicating time towards that, but it is a goal of mine. I got this beautiful pink journal for it. Last ones that I'm going to share, I didn't know if I was gonna add this or not because it's kind of in the academic passion category, but this is basically my apothecary diary. Another huge passion and interest of mine is herbalism, herbal medicine. Honestly, there's probably like dried herbs and flowers that will fall out, but yeah, like flipping to this page, this is actually a little project I did where I foraged local plants around me and then I tried to identify them on my own and then, you know, just wrote the proper identifications beside. Here's where I'll have recipes that I'm trying. It's almost like my apothecary book of shadows almost, because it's very like experimental, and I love it because when I have all my herbs around me and I'm pestling something in my mortar and there's burning fresh incense that I just made and I pull out this beautiful journal and I'm writing down my recipe, it just makes me feel very magical and like fairy-like. I love it. I'm just gonna show you all these, but these are just my designated journals for my studying and everything. So these are filled with just different notes and research from my coursework and just my own study. And then this I use as my materia medica. I made these pages on Canva. Yeah, it's just kind of where I write the plant bio identification, everything like that. So those are my herbal journals. This is just a bonus one. I haven't used this yet, but it's just such a beautiful handmade journal that one of my best friends got me. It has handmade paper in it, but I just really don't know what to use it for because it's so gorgeous. So if you have any suggestions, I'm open to them. And yeah, as I said, one of the most beautiful things about journaling is it truly is an individual and unique practice. And so I think when you kind of introduce journaling into your life, it may start as one thing. It just becomes this beautiful, all-encompassing yet freeing part of your life. It's just truly an art of its own. But that is my journaling ecosystem. I would love to hear about yours, and if you don't journal, I hope that this inspired you to start. Ending this off, of course, with what is a girl to do without her journaling?